it's just me. Partners in a partnership, all partners, nobody else, you don't need it. One or two person owned corporation, mom and pop, we each have to own at least one share of stock and own all the shares together, hold the office of the corporation, have nobody else working. You don't need it. Okay? But if you're that two-person corporation, but somebody else is answering the phone, you need it. Independent contractor was mentioned earlier. There's, a lot of times employers want people to be independent contractors because they don't have to cover them with all the insurance expenses. And the employee wants to be an independent contractor because they're getting more money in their paycheck. And that's all fine and dandy until one thing happens, they get hurt. They get hurt, they go to the hospital, and the first thing that's asked is, did this happen at work? And they go, yep. Who do you work for? I work for him. And now you are personally responsible for that accident if it's deemed that they were your employee, and it would be. So be very careful about how you set up somebody as an independent contractor. On our website, which is WCB, I have a lot of information here for you, wcb.ny.gov, we have 12 criteria that our law judges will use to determine independent contractor status. You must meet all 12. If you meet 6, you're going to be an employee. If you meet 11, you're going to be an employee. You need to meet 12. The obvious ones are direction and control, equipment, who's providing equipment, who's providing direction and control. Those are the easiest ones to look at. If you're doing that, they're yours. Okay? And think to yourself, if they got hurt and went to the hospital, would they say they work for me? You don't want to find yourself as an uninsured employer. That's not a place you want to be. General contractors are responsible for any uninsured sub. So if you're a GC, if you get subcontractors, make sure, if you use them for any period of time, make sure you are a certificate holder on their policy. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost them anything. But what happens is, if they cancel, if they don't make a payment, you will be notified. I can't tell you how many times in the construction industry, a GC will get a certificate of insurance from a contractor sub and use them for a year. And at the end of the year, when he gets audited, they find out that that guy never made a payment. You got it like auto insurance. You put a down payment, you get a policy, you show the GC, now you don't make another payment. A year later, the GC gets a bill for $100,000 because this guy never had workers' comp. If you're a certificate holder, you get notified. You call them in and say you're off the job until you get your comp. Those calls, I get those calls. They come in. That's why we go around and we tell people to do that. If you're using anybody, get a certificate of their workers' comp so that when you get audited at the end of the year, you provide that to your carrier so you can't be charged for that comp. If you don't have it, they can add it to your premium. Some specific coverage issues, sole proprietors, we went through independent contract. Family members, you need coverage.